Good afternoon. Good start to the practice week today. Full padded practice. I thought the energy was excellent. Execution is not where it needs to be yet. Probably the combination of getting back in our scheme and the install of a Tuesday. But I thought the energy was really good. And if we keep focusing on mastering the details of the game plan within our system, we'll get better as the week goes on. Questions?
Kyle, with this team, is it a workmanlike attitude that you're seeing in practice, maturity?
Yeah, mature is the word I've used. I think that's the one. I think that's the right word. And because mature teams know how to put their eyes forward. They know how to look to the next opponent and prepare for the challenges that opponent brings. I've said this a number of times because I really believe it. This is a really well-coached football team. They run the ball exceptionally well. I think they're averaging 175 yards a game rushing the football. They've played two big five conference teams already in Georgia Tech and Duke, two good football teams, and they're still averaging 175 yards a game rushing the football. So that's a challenge. I think they've got an excellent system to throw the football. They're not that dissimilar offensively to what we do. They run a lot of similar schemes, passing concepts, and it makes sense. Ralph's a pro-style guy, and Coach Johnson came from the NFL. So I think a mature football team understands that the game starts 0-0, and there's no carryover to what you did last week.
Kyle, I know you like multiple looks on offense. What does getting Nick Arch and Andre Patton back do for you in that regard?
It gives us some more flexibility. It gives you depth, first of all, I guess, but it gives us more flexibility, the ability to use 2 and 3 tight end sets, the ability to use 3 and 4 wide receiver sets. I think a really good pro-style offense has a mix of all those different personnel groups.
What's the linebacker situation? Still questionable.
Yeah, Snyder's still questionable. He actually did some stuff today for the first time, so that was encouraging. But right now, if we played today, LJ Liston would start at middle linebacker.
How's Dorian Miller coming along?
Good. Yeah, we moved Dorian over to the right side to be the first guy in the game if one of the guards had to go down. So I think he's making improvements. I'm pleased with Dorian's progress, and that takes a certain degree of maturity also to not get caught up in being the backup. I think he's approached it every week as if he feels like he's preparing to be the starter, and that's giving him an opportunity now. We'll see what Chris's status is as we go through the week, but I have confidence that if Chris couldn't go for some reason or had to come out of the game for a couple plays, that Dorian could go in there and do a good job.
I know you've had a lot of different guys in and out of corner. What have you seen from Choppy so far, and then you might probably need him to be a little bit bigger role this week?
Sure. I don't know that it's. I don't know. It's easy to answer that question on one practice, the first practice of the week. But I saw him make a play today on the ball, which was really good. I liked it. A good reaction. The ball kind of got into the receiver's hands, and he knocked it back out. It was good poise at the catch point. But Anthony's a competitive guy. He's a detail guy. He's somebody who's helped us on defense and special teams. If his role gets bigger on defense, I think he'll do a good job with it.
When you look at your secondary today, what do you see?
I see a group that's working really hard to improve. That's what I see, and that's all I can ask of them. I need them to work really hard at what we ask them to do every day to improve, and then we judge it on Saturdays. It's hard for me to judge last week because they're not really playing defense within our system. It's a different system for the week, so it's hard for me to put that game in with the other games. But I see every day as a group of players that really come out trying to improve, and if they'll do that, they will improve, and we'll see the results on Saturdays.
Your assessment of Darius through 4 games?
I'm very pleased. I'm very pleased. I would tell you the most important thing he does for us is the leadership that he provides. He's a tremendous football player. He makes a lot of plays. Him and Kenny are a big reason why we were able to play the run the way we did last Saturday. But the leadership and the energy he brings every day is infectious, and it helps our entire football team, not just the defense.
With all the time that Pat has missed, how quickly would you think he'll be able to assimilate to the offense, at least from a physical standpoint?
I think he's assimilated. I think it'd be immediate. Yeah, and having him able to run around last week, I think helps that. But he was able to stay in pretty good shape. He's a very smart football player, so the learning of what to do will not be an issue or a hindrance. But I thought he ran around well today. I don't know that we're trying to play only 2 receivers in the game, so I wouldn't want him to take 70 snaps, but I don't know that we would ask him to even if he had not been injured. But immediately he'll be back in the rotation.
I know Stevenson's just listed as questionable, but if you didn't have him, how tough is he to replace just because how versatile he is?
It takes 2 guys to replace him. That's exactly right. You need a guy to replace him in your base, and you need a guy to replace him in your sub packages. And I don't know that we have one guy that could replace him in both spots. So really, you're looking at the 2-for-1 exchange.
So Aiken would probably be the guy maybe for the basic. Who would be the next guy?
We'll decide that later. We didn't do third down today, so we'll decide that probably tonight and tomorrow.
What's been the secret so far to leading the Big Ten in sacks?
Stopping the run. I think that's the secret. I think if you can, even on Saturday, if you just look at the number, you wouldn't say you stopped the run, but when you look at it in the context of less than half their average, say, okay, we did a pretty good job stopping their run, the way they run it, and then you put them in the must-pass situations. I don't know that this would be different for any team in the country. Teams that have a lot of sacks usually can get the other offense in the must-pass situations. Then you got a chance to turn it loose a little bit, and we've been fortunate to do that so far.
Are you happy with the tight end production so far?
I'm happy that the tight ends are doing what we've asked them to do. I would not have predicted the production that they have, but I'm not concerned about it either because the quarterbacks have to go where the coverage dictates that they go. And if you try to just start sticking the ball into the tight end, it's not the way to do it. So I think if we continue to be productive on the outside, then the tight ends will become more productive because people will adjust on defense.
Thanks, Kyle.
Thank you.